In recruitment, it's particularly important to have a look at the entrepreneurial capital dimensions of Zortify. In Zortify, we are measuring 4 elements, and you should have a careful look at the level of these 4 resources when you screen your candidates. Starting with optimism. People with high scores in optimism are those from which we can expect that they are active, that they are proactively approaching challenges, and that they are not stopping in describing the problem. So we want these kinds of people in the organizations. We don't want to have people who are sarcastic or cynicistic, and this would be the reaction from people who are scoring low on optimism, and then you get more of this let's say bad poison for any organization or team culture. So be very careful on this dimension. People scoring around 20 or 30 on the percentile rank scale, they might be a risk in the sense of corporate and team culture. Looking at the resilience, this is a resource that can go up and down, much more than any personality trait. And it's depending a little bit on the perception of a person, to what extent they believe they can deal with bad experiences, and when they are facing limitations, roadblockers, or just are suffering from a non-success. And people who score high on resilience, they believe that they have the resources to deal with more or less any challenge that will come in the future. And of course, this is what we want to have in organizations. However, if you see candidates with rather moderate scores on resilience, there is still the chance to train them. So it's not a no-go by itself. But people who score very low, let's say around the 20 scores in percentile ranks, then this might be a risk factor that you identified. It can say that people might find it difficult to deal with challenging situations, and if there are some counterwinds in the job that they perceive, there might be also a risk of failure, in the sense of energetic failure or even burnout risk that these people face. When you look at the self-efficacy conviction, there is a clear recommendation: the more the better. You cannot have too much of this, because it's not something that puts you against other people. It's not arrogance, it's not a look-like self-confidence, but it's a self-confidence that comes from the inner. And people who have experienced that their own hands and doings can make a difference, and that they have influence on having success in life, and who have experienced that, they believe that they have capabilities to also deal with future challenges, and that they can dare a little bit more. They are a little bit more risk-taking because they have strong confidence in their own. Looking at the agility mindset, we strongly recommend to not go for candidates with low scores on agility mindset. It might be the indication that these people are searching for the handbrake because the speed of transformation of society or the specific organization is too high for them. And they don't believe for themselves, they don't carry the self-image of being an initiator or a leader in change. And scores around 70 and 80, we sometimes see them in top managers, for example, or in candidates for managing director positions. But from these people, we would expect that they hold the picture from themselves, that they can initiate change, and that they can also be themselves, be a positive leader to bring the organization behind their ideas. And these kinds of leaders, you don't need too many of them in the organization, but for those organizational parts in which you expect someone to be the future, to lead the organization into the next level, we recommend to go for high scores in agility mindset.